For attending tonight. Tonight is the regular monthly meeting of the Clinton Inland Wetlands Commission, Tuesday, June 4th at 7 o'clock.
Lawrence Edwards,
Here.
Edward Alvarino,
Here.
Michael Florio,
Here.
Thomas Welch, Bertram Schmitz,
Here.
Brian Tardizel,
Here.
Scott Harley,
Here.
Robert Corson,
Here.
Chris Horvath,
Here.
Douglas Elliott.
Here.
So I assume I probably see Chris Horvath. How much?
He texted me and said that he would be joining us virtually tonight, but was not very. Was that Chris?
Yep, Steve Kristen. So. That's true. So. Okay. Item agenda number 2 minutes. So we got a keeping. I'll take a motion to, well, we need to review, but ultimately approve the meeting minutes from the regular monthly meeting, which was in May 7th. There's no changes. I'll take a motion. Welcome. Mike approves second.
Second, sir.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposers? And then need to review and approve the meeting minutes from our special meeting, the site walk on May 16th.
How do I do that, sir? Because I went before.
I would just abstain from the minutes because the minutes were taken from
Okay,
when.
I'll abstain from the minutes.
So I'll need a motion to approve. If there's
So
no-
moved.
Who moved?
Kristen.
Chris, second. Larry, any discussion on the special meeting site walk minutes? All those voting in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose or abstain?
I'm abstaining too, bro.
Abstain.
The first one up.
Abstains. And you don't need to abstain because you're not voting.
No.
It's okay. Item agenda number 3, receipt of applications after filing the agenda. It's
None.
okay. All right, on to item agenda number 4. It's the show public hearing for cease and correct order. It's for C 24-44. It's going to be 18 Glenwood Road. Our wetlands enforcement officer, Kathleen Savona, is the complainant. It's Amandeep and Gurmeet K are the trustees of the same family revocable trust. They are the violators and property owners. This is for a violation of sections 4.3 and 6.2 of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Regulations of the Town of Clinton, effective February 1st, 2022, pertaining to the cutting, clearing, grading, deposition of material, and alteration of inland wetlands without a permit. It's excessive map 54, block 53, lot D, lot 2-DO 1528L in the zone R60. Do I get it? Yeah, is there a report on what the is?
Yes, so essentially, Kathy issued the cease and correct order after visiting the site about another complaint for a potential zoning violation, and while they were actually out, you noticed that there had been some clearing along the riverbank and into the wetland area and placement of wood chips down in that area. So we had a conversation with Mr. Singh. We essentially said, okay, look, the activity has to stop, and he was very good about stopping anything immediately and then sort of moving on to the correction phase of things. So it's been cooperative discussion since the violation was run. We learned about it. So Kathy's order essentially laid out the fact that the activities were something that should have been permitted by the commission, and that in order to correct them, she recommended that certified wetlands soil scientists be engaged, so that they can come up with a plan, and ask that the commission defer to her in order to finalize the plan and then implement it and come back and report to the commission. So to that end, one of the procedural elements of the cease and correct order is that within 10 days, there's an opportunity for a show cause hearing where the person who is the recipient of the violation is allowed to come to the commission and either make a case as to why it shouldn't stand or to explain what the plan is to remediate the violation. Or at least the beginning of a plan in this case is they can get underway, because finding professionals can be somewhat challenging to get within a 10-day period. So that's where we are today. I provided a staff report to the commission to just give you a place to start with, emotion and findings relative to the things that kind of have to be on record. If you, hold the order, if there's any changes you want to make to it, you can put them as conditions, and we can modify things as we go. And, basically, there's an opportunity now for Mr. Shane to, explain what's going on and what the next step is.
Okay. My name is Amandeep Singh, 3 Fernwood Lane, Clinton, Connecticut. I am the owner of this property. A little bit of history, so I bought this property in 2019. This is a mobile home park. It has 6 mobile homes in it. It's around 4.11 acres. When we bought it, we cleaned up a lot of stuff in from there. So 30-yard dumpsters, 35 30-yard dumpsters is how much garbage we took out of this place. I'm proud of it. It's a beautiful place. We took out 75 tires of all these places around. 8 cars dug into the ground. They had to be pulled out. I had to file complaints against myself to the Department of Consumer Protection, so they can come and cite me, so I can cite the tenant. So anyways, long story short, that's where we started. When I got this seeds and correct water, I said, well, so the issue was, I asked for 1 load of wood chips, so I can spread it. But the tree guy gave me 3, and they were sitting right there, and I think it was just a boo-boo. So that's all gone. It's all removed. I, of course, got permission from Abby. I came to the land use office, talked about it. Since then, I have called Rich Sonarski. I've worked with him before a couple of times. 3 messages, I've not heard back from him. I called Mr. Darby Hill from Geo Insight and New England Environmental. When I came in, that was one of the other listed. He's a LEP. He said, I can't do it. He gave me a nice compliment, which was nice. But he referred to Martin Brew from Madison, called him, left him a message too. I haven't heard back. So I reached out to Abby and asking her, can we push it to the next meeting so I can have a professional, so we can meaningful discussion rather than me just throwing stuff. So she said, no, it has to be, I have to come in, which is fair. So what I did was, what I printed up was this afternoon, just went to the GIS website. Printed out, this is the site, this is what we are talking about. I think everybody has that in front of them. And pretty much the next, I apologize to the guys online, did not share the report. This is a contour, a breakdown of how the flow of the water would be. So I actually, a couple of years ago, been complaining about my neighbor, this gentleman. He has all the water coming in direct to the driveway. It's a 3-inch pipe coming right to the, that goes through the driveway. And all up here, it's just soils, sediment. And this is since before I bought it, they've been throwing wood chips there. Even if you see in the pictures, this is the GIS. And then I pictured I had from before. I'm not justifying it, I'm just saying it was there. The other day when you guys were there, it was just fresh, and it just popping out as if I did it yesterday. But long story short, if we have to remove everything, I'll do it myself. I'm not a maneuver. So I also got the waterway, all that printed out. The idea was just to show the commission But I'll work with you, anything that you need me to do, I'll do it. We'll hire the soil scientist. And so, if you can go over the picture, the first one right at the top, this is what I brought in, to Kathy to say, I'm gonna put a couple of blocks there because this is a direct discharge. It was the last 2 years, we've been trying to fix our driveway. Every time it rained, every time, there were this bumps everywhere. So we closed that, the next page, this is the wall that we put up there. And the third page, okay, this is being segregated now. Yesterday, we had a lady who came there and laid their eggs right next to the wall. So there you go.
Where did you,
Snapping turtle.
Laid eggs right next to the wall.
Okay.
I was like, beautiful. Out of 4 acres, that's the only place you find. That was yesterday. So this next picture, you can't see much, but, this shows the driveway, how it gets affected and all the water that was flowing back there. This shows, the following picture shows you the effect of the water. With all that wood chips, the wood chips are, that I thought wood chips were natural and that's how I spread it. If I need to rake it out, I'll rake it up, doesn't matter. So that's, it's probably a couple of inches there. That's being. This is the newer picture. In this picture, is from 20. It says 2022. A couple of years ago, when the trees were, I just planted the 5 trees there. Because I cut some vines that were taking over the trees. I have some pictures for that too. Next picture. I have all these time stamped, I just love taking pictures. Because I have my happy spot there. I sit there and I send it to my wife and my kids. It's so beautiful there. Because they don't come with me and I enjoy it. This is 2022 also. That was for there before also. Not justifying it, but I'm just being honest. This is what it was. This is again 22. And I can zoom in on my computer. In the back here, it's all, you can see everything back there. So what it is today and what it was before. So what I'm trying to say is I didn't do all of this last month. This picture is from 2019 when we put the city water all the way to all the mobile homes. I did it myself. But every time it's connected, water was there. That gives you, this gives you an idea what was, there's a truck in there. You can see in the back, there were no trees there. This is 2019. This is all time spent. I don't know if it's methable or not, but I just wanted to share it with the commission. These were the vines back there that we took off, and that's when I planted 5 trees. But I don't like to cut trees, but this is what it is today after the trees. So this was before in 2019. This is the third lap. In the back, you see that? And this is what it is today. And this is the picture I took in 2019 from my ship, which is still the same. I am trying to hire a soil scientist. I'll be happy to hire him. If you think, I need to start moving the chip. I didn't even cut any grass or anything there. That whole area is out of ours until you get left. what should be my next step?
Mr. Chairman, may I ask you a question? I remember we had a conversation when I was working we were both at my place and your place, we were next neighbors.
Yep.
And you explained to me what could be done about an individual on your property that's ruining your driveway, pumping water. Told you that, go see Kathy or Kathy. I said,
That's what we did.
okay, and I said, it's against the law for him to pump water or divert water onto your property. But diversion is your driveway, he's killing your driveway. That's.
Yeah, no, not pumping, he wasn't pumping, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
My neighbor,
But he diverted the water. I said,
Yes.
I used words pumping or diverting water.
yeah, so it's a direct discharge. So the whole property is the whole water is coming in one pipe and going directly into my driveway, which is basically affecting the whole soil in that area.
It-
But
it-
that's-
Where does that wash out to? So it goes into your driveway and then it permeates there?
So, yeah, so it washes out, so it comes out of here, I don't know if you can see it. So it comes out of here, and it's washing up, that's why I printed out the contour too. So you can see how this whole area is coming down here and just washing all the way here. That's what I was trying to show in the pictures. The,
Yeah, so I drove up there and he says, come and see what I'm doing up there. So I went up there and then he was putting all the water, the water, see the water. And I said, to go see you because is against the law to divert water. And I said, this is your driveway. I've been, so I put it, then I said, go and see that, they'll help you.
I came in, it was a zoning issue, so I think it's a zoning, and so.
So yeah, it's a little bit of a separate sort
Yeah.
of category.
Yeah, but it's a zoning.
Yeah.
So I understand.
I got a few questions.
Yep.
You know, I'm actually handling the problem exactly like it's in another town. Where the driveway's getting all bumped up and everything, we just graded those things, we had to do a French drain next to it. But to stop the rushing water coming up, so. The thing is, you're down in the wetlands, but there's no stopping the water coming from the property down, so he's trying to calculate it into one area. Obviously, but it's still washing out in your driveway, so that's something you guys are gonna consider.
Yeah, so over the years, I've been,
How long have you owned the property?
since 2019.
2019, so that's all, just came as far as. Trees that were fell right there.
Yes, so it's already in the GIS system too, you can look at all the pictures. So this is the tenant who used to live there, all this stuff here, and all the pictures that I was showing you from 2019, 22. They're all chipped here, so it's not new, it's just the way it was washed, and I added some too. I'm just embarrassed. If I have to break it up, I will break it up. If I have to plant some trees, I have access to 50, 60, Sharon of roses, or roses of Sharon.
Roses.
Yeah, so if that's a wetland happy plant, sort of. So I didn't want to, so my original intent was to put the grass seed, if you would have not showed up, I have grass seed in my car right now. And the reason I wanted to put grass seed was so you can have some grass seeds. But after that, I didn't really touch it because I was talking to someone, they said there's even special grass
Special seeds.
for that
Yeah,
for that wetland area, especially when you say wetland, you need to back off. You can't just throw any grass. So I didn't put any grass seed, I don't wanna do anything, we'll do what needs to be done. I can come up with my own plan, I can do my research, I started the training, I registered myself for inland wetland this fall. Thing myself. I can do it, but it's up to how you feel comfortable. If somebody wants to come back again and look at it, more than welcome.
Excuse me, one second. If he keeps doing this, and say he fixes it, and then the person that's causing all the problem, that drainage.
They're unrelated.
Yeah, so,
There's two different,
Yeah, it's two different areas,
right, but I
but
can't.
the one that has the pipe that runs into his driveway. That's, yeah, that was a big problem. So how does that get fixed?
So there's two different things. So one, the concentration of flow off of of the other property onto this property
Yes,
is a
yes.
separate violation, and that's being pursued separately. The town is actually gonna be doing some work to make sure that water isn't coming off of the road, off of
Oh,
the
okay.
down into that property, because that's part of the exit, sort of a different piece of that violation where folks are sort of, the owner is having some difficulty managing the water in part because of, claims that the town water is exacerbating the problem. So we're taking care of that. That gets that off the table, and Kathy can continue forward with her enforcement activities for that particular issue. So that's one thing. I think in terms of the way in which water flows, certainly it flows in that direction, continues over the driveway, has issues with water flowing on the driveway and grading issues that Mr. Singh has to deal with, and it does go toward the wetland. But there's a fair amount of space between the driveway and the wetland area.
Right.
And so certainly, I mean, even, and then certainly there are scenarios for temporary sediment erosion control, which are wonderful. They do a great job of stopping that flow. But in this particular case, it's not just in that area where that water is coming. It hooks around, you can see the trail there. And the wood chips that have been placed, whether they've been placed historically, or recently, we continue around the south side on the bank of the river.
Okay.
So it's beyond just that one area. So
that's it, most of the picture is right. So most of the picture that I was showing you is around this area. What I just showed. What she's talking about is I actually put some wood chips here, because that's where my chairs are. I call it a happy spot, because that's where I sit. Probably half an hour a day, every day. I have two chairs here, right next to water. Literally right next to water. I just sit there. What I did from here to here is I put 4 feet of wood chips. Made a walk, like path, not a walkway, path. And I think that is what you're talking about. That's a new activity. I agree with that. And if we need to move it, I'll move it. I don't want to create any trouble. I'm totally in support of inland wetlands, whatever you guys want me to do, I'll do.
So the recommendation out of the cease and desist or the correct word was to engage the services of a certified soil scientist, just similar to what the commission has done for other placement of wood chips in wetland area in the past. That person who creates the plan, Kathy can come back to report on what the plan will be, so that you don't have to bring a professional in to necessarily go through every aspect of it. We can deal with that administratively. Come back to the commission, provide reports, and just give you the updates on mediation. So that would be, so once that plan is in place, there'll be, here are the activities, whether it's removal of some or all of the wood chips, some of the stumps that were placed, some of that kind of stuff, and what that restoration might need to look like. And again, the ability for someone to walk in a wetland and place a chair and just sit on the edge of the riverbank won't go away. It's just a matter of what does that treatment look like and what is the.
And don't forget, I think it was exactly because of the 14 inches of rain that we had.
Yeah, I mean, the wood chips, especially around the south end of the trailer, it's like, and there was, skunk cabbage sprouting up through the chips. So it's clearly wetland resource area. And it's essentially the same elevation as the river. And then it slopes dramatically up toward that trailer with the mole. So that is absolutely within the resource area. But there's certainly things that can be done, to fix it. And so I think, because we have a long property owner, it's certainly got my recommendation to hold Kathy's order and move things forward so that we can kind of move on from this.
Can I make a motion then?
So can I make a comment before that? So one other communication I saw from Sherry was the plan has to be in by July 25th.
15th, or July 15th, or
15th or 22nd?
Right now it says 25th. Now that's a condition in the staff report for consideration. And if we think
Okay.
that that's too fast because of the trouble we're having finding somebody.
So that was my only question. So we can keep it there and around July 15th. If I have trouble, or I don't know when the next meeting is, before that, a week before, I can send you an email and say, I'm still having trouble, I'm talking to engaging this person, we're trying to figure this out.
Yeah, the recommendation just was to have a deadline, just so that there is sort of a hard stop to say services have to be engaged, the plan has to be in place by a certain time. The commission can, talk about that now, about what you think is appropriate.
Yeah, so I don't want to, make an excuse later on, I just want to put it up there. We'll do exactly what you want to do.
What's the date you're comfortable with?
Well, so I have called 3 people, I told you,
Yeah.
local, I have not heard back. I've heard back from Darby, who can't help.
Yeah,
You call David Ward too, he'll get back to you.
you'll hear back from somebody.
Yeah,
Sure.
so
What's
Rich,
the-
Rich Starowski, I've worked with him a couple of times.
He's great.
Different properties flagging my.
Probably some stuff going on this summer, but what do you think? What's the date?
Well, I think,
That's July 2nd would be the next meeting.
Right, so it's sort of July 15th is gonna be August anyway.
What about first Tuesday?
so
July
what-
2nd.
what I can do is, I can promise to the commission that I'll keep, Abby and Kathy abreast with what's going on. If I am engaging somebody is gonna be coming in. Most likely, that's why I said, you can leave July 25th there as is, and if I have any trouble, I'll request.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion. I move that the cease and desist correct order 18 Glenwood Road issued to Amandeep and Gurmeet Singh and trustees on May 28, 2024 remain in effect and adopt the following findings of fact and conditions. Findings of fact. 1, the wetlands enforcement officer correctly issued the cease and desist order for the unpermitted regulated activities at 18 Glenwood Road. The Inland Wetland Commission has held a show cause hearing in accordance with section 13 of the Inland Wetlands Regulations. Conditions. All activity within the jurisdiction of the Inland Wetlands Commission shall cease until approval by the commission of a remediation plan by a certified soil scientist. The remediation plan shall be submitted to the Inland Wetlands Commission no later than August 6, 2024.
And so I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion? Everyone okay with?
Who's my, not to kick a dead horse, but. What about that neighbor that's in violation? Who's gonna take care of that?
So that's the zoning violation,
So who's
and
gonna take care of that?
so it's already under enforcement.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
just to put Mr. Singh's mind at ease, the recommendation be made to Kathy, and then whatever she decides to do within the remediation.
Yeah, you might not need it.
You can apply just what Kathy wants you to do.
Yeah,
Let's do what Kathy asked.
Well, so but that's part of our motion, is that we're gonna ask Mr. Singh to put
Yeah.
together a remediation plan by soil scientist. It'll come to us for approval.
Yep.
He doesn't need to bring in a soil scientist to do it for Kathy. We approve his commission, that, at that point, we could always set a date that the remediation needs. to be
Okay.
done.
And the other part's being taken care of, Abby said, so we should be out of the woods.
Or in the woods.
Yeah, we're not.
well,
You can put another
with the correct seed. So. What my plan was, so I have a couple of chairs there, can I leave them there, can I
Yeah.
access them? Yeah, it's not locked or anything, right?
Part of your remediation plan, we'll consider it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Put a pole there with some nice keys and we'll come down and join you.
I wanted to put a couple of benches there or something for the tenants, not right now. After the plan, when we have the plan and site plan and everything, and the commission says good, then we do it.
I would include it in the final plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any further discussion on
No, I think
changes to? the
I'm happy
motion?
with that. You happy?
All right, so I see, Tom is online, so, Tom, you're voting on this motion if you can, in lieu of Chris, since you're now seated. So any further discussion, are we good?
No, sir.
All right, those voting in favor of this?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstain? Okay, motion carries. Great, thank you, Mr. Singh.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I just got an email, my cyber truck is ready. I haven't told my family yet. Huh?
What did I do?
Okay, agenda number 5, administrative review. First is going to be item C 24-1, 327 East Main Street. Greg Bettis, PE is the applicant, Shoreline Partners LLC is the owner. It's for application for regulated activity within 0 to 50 feet of the inland wetlands or a water course. For a new mixed-use development with way traffic around building, parking, stormwater system, septic system, retaining walls, underground utilities. Assessors map 85, block 69, lot 121 in the zone B4. And tonight, so what we need to do is determine if the impact based on this property requires a public hearing, or if it's in the best interests of the public hearing. If not, we could move on.
Chairman, what do you think?
Well, I guess, do you wanna, I guess, give us, if anything changed with your planning? That's okay.
Go grab Mountain Months.
A little shaky, maybe, but take it on. Greg, that's engineering.
There's your info in there.
Pretty sure, based on the engineer's review and Abby's memo, probably deserves a public hearing. You know, my take on the disturbance is it's 2,500, 2,700 square feet, chucking over 5,000. We're restoring quite a bit and adding some, so I'm not sure. We'll get through the Army Corps question, but I think our actual disturbance is less than 5,000. We are restoring close to 6,000 square feet. I'm not sure how Army Corps, to be honest with you, I'm not sure how they view that. Just a little history. Water from the subdivision to the north, which is Robin Lane and Higley. Dump water out of this property, comes down and kind of works its way up to Route 1. There was some evidence, which I'm checking also, is that maybe that was supposed to be a more of a defined channel or pipe. It probably made a huge difference to our meeting tonight, if either one of those was put in and maintained. However, here we are. It's a tricky site, as we discussed before, with flood elevations. So we balance developing it and maybe making the wetland situation better than it is today. It's not, in my opinion, and we'll have our. So it's public hearing at the next meeting, that you guys decide. Testify the quality of the existing wetland and what we're gonna do. Yes, it's some Chuck seemed to indicate it was a pretty aggressive development. We think it's a balance more so than aggressive development. The town, the commission and the wetlands. And being able to kind of afford to fill it and with what's there, which is basically maybe a pipe or channel, stormwater from the north. They never got done, never just maintained, and kind of just over time from 1962 on, just spread. So we'll be at the northeast corner.
So that the town is gonna, you have the town fix that?
Well, I'm guessing back to 62 years, they're not gonna want to touch anything, and like I said, here we are. It's a wetland, it's marked out, we just want a little consideration, I guess. I think 3-to-1 ratio for restoring and creating wetlands, just to make the property work for us, I think is reasonable. But that's up for you guys to decide after we present, at the next meeting. And address Chuck's concerns and Abby's concerns, staff's concerns. We will, be open to what we're asking.
So comment staff, so this has been forwarded to. Here,
Correct, yeah, so there's in the record already, there is a letter with his comments that outline, this for he had additional questions. And just wanted to clarify things like some of the stormwater treatment, so that defining the disturbance area, being more clear about the methods and plans for the mitigation area that's being proposed. So there's a number of things in there that, he really needed more information in order to provide a thorough review, which is why the staff recommendation is to move this forward. Now, the one thing he did say in his review was that based on what he has seen, that it's likely to be eligible to be considered a significant activity under section 2 of the wetlands regulations. And so his recommendation was that the commission should at least consider a public hearing for this particular application, and then also give some extra time for things to get into the record for us to do updated plans, get things back to our engineer and have that exchange. So hopefully that comes with the answers to that.
do you think you'd be able to address town engineer comments before our next monthly meeting? So if we were to hold a public hearing, we'd be able to address.
Yeah. We have it in 14 days.
Yeah, the regulations essentially say that any new information submitted by the applicant has to be in 15 days prior to public hearing for review. And so the second it comes in, it would go to the town engineer. He's indicated that if something comes in 15 days ahead of the hearing.
Does that make everybody happy about the restoration and adding the what,
Well, the short answer is that we don't know. There's more detail that's necessary, and so that's, the plan is that, you have the additional information, Chuck has a chance to review it, hopefully at that point, all of the prongs have been addressed, and that's it. We won't know until that information.
Is there an old plan from 62 with the original site or something?
I think there's one from 58 that's referenced in the easements. And,
Shows what solid land is and all that over
yeah, I
Basically.
don't recall. Show reference to all of them, but we'll do our. History of that. The next video.
And the reality is, even if it were dry in the 60s, wetlands move, and so it's regulated today.
Yeah.
That's the-
We're not just doing the wetland line, we're just.
There is a.
If in 1962, if culvert was put in. We were here.
we had that, we just went through that. With one of them.
Yeah,
The culverts was destroyed. From the roots, it was old.
Did we look at another place over there, say, one, and buildings, the small buildings?
Yeah.
Any property?
Same place. It's the same place.
Yeah, it's in that area, you can see it. Smooth. Yeah.
But I mean,
And, over the years, on, as we stated out at the meeting, the lawn kind of extended towards the wetlands.
of course.
That's why the wetland line is in
Oh,
law.
I thought you guys would have thought, I thought you changed it.
Well, we did.
But if they let you take away and then put back more. That's, you gotta get the okay from the Army part. Sure. Yep,
Sorry, say that again?
the absolute. Approval comes from the engineers or the Army. Who has that jurisdiction?
This,
To take away wetlands and give back to make wetlands.
well, for this application, it's up to us. Army Corps doesn't have jurisdiction.
Okay.
If there's a sort of general 5,000 square foot disturbance area in which certain Army Corps permitting comes into effect, and so that's what I think the additional information
That's what,
will help resolve whether or not.
Yes.
so, yeah, it's close.
We think we're disturbing. Sheet here, we think we're disturbing like 2,700, 2,800. but we're restoring 6,000. So. Is that,
That's why I asked.
I guess, disturbing grass, putting it back to a wetland, is that, I don't know, it's great, so, but we'll get it.
So you indicated on at least the town engineer preliminary comments that they recommend that it's deemed a significant activity.
Yeah, that essentially what he said was the application materials as presented are likely to constitute.
So as a commission, we need to decide if this is a significant activity. Obviously, our engineer says, but because we have a lot of new members, why don't I read what
Yeah.
significant activity is?
Sure.
So per our regulations, a significant activity is any activity involving the deposition or removal of material which will or may have a substantial effect on the regulated area or on another part of the inland wetland or watercourse system, or any activity which substantially changes the natural channel or may inhibit the natural dynamics of a watercourse system, any activity which substantially diminishes the natural capacity of an inland wetland or a watercourse to support desired fisheries, wildlife, or other biological life, prevent flooding, supply water, assimilate waste, facilitate drainage, provide recreation or open space or other functions. Any activity which causes substantial turbidity, siltation, or sedimentation in a wetland or watercourse. Any activity which causes a substantial diminution of flow of a natural watercourse or groundwater levels of the regulated area. Any activity which causes or has potential to cause pollution to a wetland or a watercourse. Any activity which creates conditions which may adversely affect health, welfare, and safety of any individual of the community, or any activity which destroys unique wetland or watercourse areas having demonstrable scientific or educational value. So it's very broad, significant activities, but as a commission, we need to decide if it is. If it is, it automatically requires a public hearing. The engineer has suggested. So as such, take a motion to.
I'll make a motion to designate a significant activity.
Actually, we have one written for us. Yeah, it's a recommendation if you want to make it, but I like that motion.
You are gonna have a wetland moral fund.
Oh, since you haven't spoke yet, would you mind just identifying yourself for the record?
Can you spell your last name, please?
Are we gonna go past it, July 2nd? We're gonna do the August?
Well, I think the applicant indicated that they'd be able to address town engineer comments by.
Okay. I move, I'm just recommending, this is significant activity. I move to continue IWC 24-1, an application for regulated activity within 0 to 50 feet of a wetland or watercourse at 327 East Main Street. The July 2nd, 2024 regular meeting of the Inland Wetlands Division and required public hearing that date pursuant to the following. The project as proposed may have significant impacts on wetlands or watercourses as defined under the term significant activity in section 2.20.1 of the Clinton Inland Wetlands Regulation. The public hearing is required pursuant to section 9 of the Clinton Inland Wetland applications. It will be scheduled for July 2nd, 2024. Information required in section 7-7.4, 7.5, and 7.6 of the Clinton Inland Wetland Regulations shall be submitted at least 15 days prior to the public hearing to be reviewed by the town engineer, which he recommends, So. But it's good that you give it back, so that's my opinion, so.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? A second. Okay, just discussion, yes. Any discussion considering it to do an activity requiring public hearing, we held next week. Okay. All right, all those voting in favor say aye. Opposed or abstained? Motion carries. See you guys next month for a public hearing.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that. Very concise. All right, on to an item agenda 5B, WEO application.
There's something joining that.
Not obligated, as concerns.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, guys. So there's two wetlands enforcement applications that were submitted.
Yep, so the first one, 35 Chittenden Hill Road, is in addition to a residential home. Additional information is pending right now because some of the grading on their plans actually extends into the 50-foot buffer to the resource area. So we're waiting for more information to see if it's going to stay a WEO application or if that's going to come to the commission for review. And then 18 Allen Road, WEO 2423, Kathy issued that permit to construct a barn, more than 50 feet from the area. And then in terms of complaints and violations, 29 Cow Hill Road, there was some important bill and sort of there's a clean fill wanted sign out of the side of the road and some material being brought in. So that activity was stopped. We're verifying that it has remained stopped. So it's still an active enforcement element there. And then obviously the correct order.
And thank you, Abby. Item agenda number 6 is for schools.
There was just a few small things that are sent out to you. Silverbrook Homeowners Association. When they do an application for pesticides, they have to notify us that. And they did it, it says Silverbrook Lane, but it's actually the address of Homeowners Association. The pond is Silverbrook Pond. That they do this. And the similar thing at Riverdale Park Campground. Again, they were applying pesticides.
Item agenda number 7, old business. Does anyone have any business stuff?
I have one thing, Boulder Lake, 56. Across the street, they clear cut, they clear cut, you know. So they clear cut. And the ground is now impervious. And because of that, and also there was no soil and erosion control. And they pushed stuff over the embankment towards the wetlands. And they also went onto the neighboring property. So now whatever they used for, they probably used, because of type of recycled process, concrete process, because after the first rain, it hardens. So now you got complete runoff. So it was all trees in it, you know that. And they were told that because it's a parking lot, they need permits, they need anything, no soil and erosion control, so you go up there yourself. It's right across the street. I don't know who owns it, but it's,
It's across from what it is.
what's that?
Across from 56.
Yes,
Is it that part of the septic system?
no, they didn't do that, no, they didn't do that, that was supposed to be part of the septic, that was what they were talking about, to make that house compliant. But they pulled it off the market because there's a lot of stuff going on, but the problem is all that because they used a concrete it's a recycled concrete, that's what it is. Anyway, and now it hardened after the first rain, and now all the washouts going down the street. So, and all the trees that were there were just clear cut, and everything's pushed over the embankment. Down.
On the other side.
Yeah, it's all wet. I mean, it's a clear violation and,
I'll take a look at it.
yeah, and you know what? The neighbors that own the properties on both sides, he pushed stuff onto their property, so. And there's no talking to the guy, so you guys have a ball. So. And he's worse than the one we had on Stone. Believe me when I tell you. Remember that guy? This guy's 10 times worse, so he doesn't care what anybody says. So that's up to you, Al. I was gonna call you, but
Yeah, it's the first I've heard of things.
I've been very busy, and I've been very busy, and,
What's happening for our.
yeah. And I know she went on vacation, so I didn't wanna bother, and I know you've been up to your eyeball, so I didn't wanna bother you, but that is a really significant problem going on, because it's so hard, all the water, and we had like 14 inches. Can't doubt that, it's all going down the road.
Any other new business? Old business? Okay, I'm agenda number 8, new business, there's 2 listed, but Jerry talked about the pesticide applications already. The agenda number 9, I did additions to next month's regular monthly meeting. Do we want any additions to our agenda? Nope. Move on to 10, chair's comments. I don't have any comments tonight. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Derek, any discussion? Ryan? Any discussion? Those in favor say aye. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, do we have to make a? Do we have to endorse him again?
He's goes to town council meeting tomorrow.
There's
Oh, for the